Hello friends. Until now, I always had been working with one single Django project running in one particular port number, having one database is equals to monolithic application. Yes, until now all my videos has been just referred or just focused on Django monolithic application. But this is the era of Django microservice. So this is the first video where I'm going to demonstrate a very small, simple, hands-on how Django microservice works. As you can see right over here, what is Django microservice, or what is microservice all about? Micro, that means breaking down into smaller molecules. These molecules are single project. Let's consider I have a folder by the name called microservices, as you can see in the background right over here. I have one project called user service. Yes, you rightly heard, there's a project called user service. We know the command how to create a project, that is Django-admin start project and the project name, which is user service. So I created one project by the name called user service. And as usual, when we create a project, it will have its manage.py, settings.py, urls.py, and blah blah. Inside this project, I've created one app by the name called users. And we know that every users or every app will have views.py, admin.py, models.py. These are very obvious. So this is one standard project that this particular folder has got. Similarly, I'm creating another Django project by firing the command Django-admin start project, and the project name is order_service. That means inside this folder I have got two separate projects, and each of these projects has its own files. So order service has its own manage.py, settings.py, rows.py. Inside the order service I have created one app by the name called orders, which contain view.py, admin.py, model.py, and rest of the other files. So what can I say now? Well, I can say like the microservice folder has got two TWO independent Django projects, right? How do I start them? Well, I will start user service by the command python manage.py run server 8001. So this project is running at the port number 8001. Similarly, the order service, I will fire the command python manage.py run server 8002. Oh my god. So that means microservices is all about different port number having different projects, and these projects are all self-independent, but they can work together, and that's the beauty of microservice, and that's what we are going to see. So that means, before I move to the execution part, that means each project can have its own database. Yes, user service can have its own database, order service can have its own database, and a respective database will have their own individual tables. Oh my god, that means we are also working on multiple databases. Yes, and that's the beauty of microservice. That means each project can have its own independent database, but they can work or they can interact among each others, and that's what I'm going to show you, how they can interact among each others. So let me minimize my image and let's come to my project. So let me first explore you about my user service. As I said in the diagram, this service is going to have one app by its own. As you can see in the diagram, user service has an app by the name called users. That's what you can see right over here. Similarly, order service has its own apps by the name called orders. So let me expand this, and you can see the orders. So that means whatever we have been doing until now, everything we continue. We're just expanding the structure, rather creating multiple apps. Well, that apps will be there respective to the project. That apps will be there. You just explore and create more different projects, store them inside one single application. So right now you can see there are two projects. One is called user service, the other is called order service. I can have one more project over here by the name called payment_service. So that's how you are going to split, you are going to create the thing. Okay, So now what I will be showing you, one beautiful site, and here it goes. User service is running at the port number http://127.0.0.1:8001, whereas order service is running at the port number 8002, and both the application are running parallelly, and that's what you saw in the image, that you have to run both these simultaneously, and it's running. So now what I would try to do is I would try to use API. With the help of API, I will try to access the order service, and order service will try to access the user service and get the data. Okay, so let me show you now that part. So let's come to the user service first. Let's go to the urls.py of user service. Here is that. Let me open this. It has got couple of routes. Yes, look over here. It has a route that talks about individual user, and it also has a route that talks about all the users. So get user is a single user, get users is actually a plural. So here you are going to get a list of users. So that's what the user service urls.py is. Let me go to the app and let me open the views.py of the user service, and here it comes. Let me collapse this. So that means let me close this. So I have got couple of function based view. One that will get me individual user, the other one will get me all the users, and here are they connected, right? So far so good. So that was a part of the user service. So let's go into the urls.py of the order service. Here it comes, right? So order service also has got, let me keep it this side, yeah. So it has got a single order details, it has got multiple order details, because we saw there are two endpoint. One is single user, the other one is multiple users. So for that reason, in case of order also, we have got, or we have separate routes. So let me open the orders view.py, right? So inside the orders we have got view.py, and here it comes. Let me collapse this. Let me close the respective functions. So that means I have got one route where I will be getting one order detail, and the other one has got multiple order details. See over here it's plural, right? So you understood how this diagram is flowing. Okay, so individual app will be storing its individual function based view, and we need to interact among these apps. So how am I going to do that? Let's start with the first one. So I have got one single user. So there is a user, so I will pass the endpoint as API/user, and then I will give an ID, and that will take me to the respective function, and here it comes. So the ID which I am going to send will be stored inside this particular parameter right over here, and I've just gone for a dictionary over here, a hardcode dictionary I have created just to show the demonstration purpose that how this is going to work. The dictionary has got total 3 keys. So what are these keys? Well, there's an ID, so whatever ID you will pass over here, that will come right over here. So it will be a hard coded, no issue. The name of the customer is Alice, and the Alice email ID is alice@gmail.com, and this is a object, right? This is a dictionary. So I'm going to send this dictionary. So this is a dictionary, so I'm going to send this dictionary to, I will convert them into the JSON format, and I will send it when this particular route will be given a call. Right, so let's explore how exactly this function based view will be used by my order service. So let's explore that. So let's take one function based view at a time. Okay, so that means, well, I will go to my postman. Here is my postman, and here is my order. So let me open the order route. So I will go for one order. Oh no, this is a plural one. I will go for this order. Here it is, right? Oh, here I have made a mistake. This should be order, not orders. Okay, great. So here I'm going to put one particular order, but I also have to pass an ID. So that's what I'm going to do right over here. So look now how the endpoint is looking. So the endpoint goes like this. Does it match? Yes. So I will be hitting my app, which is order. The order is running in the port number 8002. Let me show you even that again. So this is my order. Order is running in the port number 8002. That's the reason why I wrote localhost:8002 app API API and I've got the order, right? So if I look over here, let me close this even. So how exactly it's going to work? So first I have to give a call to this endpoint, app user slash following ID. I will be giving a call to this, so that would take me to this endpoint. So I need to rectify this. I have to write app slash user. I have to write that, but the order will come right from, not from this, it will actually come from my order service. So let me take you to the order app now, and let's open this. Let me take you to my urls.py of my order service. Here is my order service. So what I'm going to write, I'm going to write this route, right? So API slash order, single route, API slash order. So initially what I did was correct. I don't need to write any IP, sorry, not IP. I don't need to put any order over here because I will be targeting this particular endpoint. So let me show you what is there inside this function based view. So let's come over here. Let me open this endpoint and let me take you to this route over here. Yes. So what is there inside this? Well, I am putting one hard code ID directly over here, because as you can see, this user service need one ID over here, so I need to provide one ID. So for that reason I'm providing a hard code ID right over here. So that's the ID I'm providing. Okay, great. Now I am targeting this particular endpoint which is present inside the user service. So I'm targeting this particular endpoint, and that what I mentioned over here. See, http:/localhost 8001/API/user, and I'm providing the ID. That means this particular endpoint is actually secure. Nobody would get to know about this endpoint. That means the whole thing is actually present inside the Python, inside the server side, so nobody would get to know what is the ID or what is the endpoint that actually takes you to another project. So right now we are working on multiple projects, right? We have got 2 projects, so we are not exposing this particular endpoint, right? So when I will be calling this one, I will just write API/order. So I will just call API/order, and that would take me to this particular function. And here I'm creating one route over here, and that route has hard code ID. So this is now going to give a call. So with the help of request, package or system define, I'm going to give a call to this particular endpoint. So request.get will hit this, and as the control comes right over here, so that will bring me over here. So it is going to send me a JSON response. So that JSON response will be received right over here, and I need to convert that into a JSON format so that it can be presented back to the postman. So that would really come over here. Okay, fine. So in context to order, I'm adding couple of extra keys over here. So I'm creating one more object over here. I'm putting the order ID as 101, and the item I'm putting as the book, and whatever user information that actually came from this entire. So who is the user over here, the user details, all these things I'm putting right over here. So that means the order service is adding order information, user service information I'm getting from here. Let me repeat again. When we hit this particular endpoint, the control did turn to the user service, right? It did come to the user service. From the user service, I got the information about the user. So that means when we're talking about microservice, we are keeping the application loosely coupled. The user service is going to talk about only user details. User service has got nothing to do with the order details. Order details is a separate project. So for that reason, inside this view, I'm adding some extra information about the order that the user is placing. So order ID I have written hard coded. I know all this is hard coded, but later on they can be all come from database, right? So for the time being, just to make you understand the flow of control of how exactly microservice works, how exactly microservice contains different projects, they need to mix together to work as a whole, is that what I'm putting. So inside the order service, I just added these informations. So these 2 informations reflects the information about the order. and over here the response which I have got, which I convert to JSON format, that what I'm putting over here, and finally I'm sending this JSON response, and this will actually get reflected in my Postman. Right, so let's come to my Postman over here, and I have the route. The route is this one, API/order. So that's the route I'm going to hit, and that will take me to please order. This function-based view will get fired. So now let's click on this and let's see how the thing is working. I'm super excited. Okay, so this is the first time I'm working on microservice, and here the data comes. Look at the thing, here the data comes, how the thing looks like. So the first two information talks about the order that the user has placed, and this is the information that is coming from the user service. So that means this particular JSON is a is a mixture of two different separate projects running at two different port numbers. So here is one port number, this is another port number, so two different port numbers are involved. So the user service is running at port number 8001, order service is running at port number 8002, and they all are interacting among each others. And that's how from the monolithic we have actually migrating, or I'm trying to migrate, I should migrate, I should not use the word called try, I have to migrate the whole thing to the microservice. So when we are talking about microservice, what we are saying at first, we are saying that we have got two separate projects, or of course more than two separate projects. As I said, I can add over here another project called payment service as well. That a microservice is a combination of separate projects, and these projects are going to run on a separate port number. So this is one project, this is another project, this is another project. Each project is running in the respective port numbers, and they have got their individual files which has got individual functionalities. You are keeping them loosely coupled, and you can target each of this in a separate database table. Okay, well, I have still got one more route which I'm going to discuss in my next video, so that you can take one thing at a time, and by the end of this video you understood that as I hit one single endpoint, I'm going to get the information about one single user. Its order information is also over here coming from order service, and user information is coming from user service. In my next video I will be targeting how about getting multiple users, and how do I pass the information of the orders of each of those users, and collectively we'll get that entire list which consists of dictionaries. That is something really going to be amazing. So let me just show you what the next particular route is, but the execution I will show you in details in my next video. As I click on this, I'm going to get a list, oh my god, a list where individual order of the respective users are there. So I have got 3 orders, so this is the information of the order that has been placed by the following user. That's how the first object is. Let's move on second on. I have got the order information of the second order placed by this particular user, and lastly I have got information of this order placed by this user. So that means here I have getting multiple user information all at the same time in the form of a dictionary that contains, in the form of a list that containing dictionaries. Isn't it amazing? Yes. So welcome you to the world of Django Microservice. So stay tuned and keep watching my next video. Until then, have a nice time. Bye bye.